the established churches have a way of defining community that's really different than how the younger generation defines community. And when the established churches don't recognize that there's been a major cultural shift, and that really it's a cross-cultural ministry that they have to engage in order to reach younger people. And when they presume to have the answers for what that community needs to look like, they'll fail. And we see that in a lot of churches where they're just not connecting with the younger generation. And maybe in some rural areas and smaller churches where there's a real strong sense of family that can happen. But in the larger churches, they're losing the young people. And where they had a college program that had been doing pretty well, but the pastor over the college ministry had fallen. And we had just gotten involved with the ministry just prior to that happening, and so it was as if someone had kicked an anthill, and there were all these college students looking for a leader and looking for direction. And Carol and I, because we were in there, we went to the elders and we said, we feel like God's called us to come in and bring some encouragement and some order back to this. Would you support us doing that? And they said yes, and I said, then I just have 3 things that I need you to agree to before I go and I do it. I need you to let me go in, not as a youth worker in the same format that you guys have been used to seeing, but I said, let me go in as a cross-cultural missionary, because I'm assuming that the group that we're going in to reach culturally is different enough from us to where it needs to be cross-cultural. So if you could look at it as you sending a missionary into a college ministry, then I think that'll work for us. And I can't have you guys coming in and telling me how that needs to look. I need to figure that out as I go in. I said the second thing is I need you to hold me accountable to healthy church practices. I think there's some general church practices that are good in any situation, and I'm just asking for accountability, for the ministry to be accountable to you for healthy church practices. And then the third one is just hold us accountable for bearing fruit. And if you can do those things and you support us financially, you support us, in whatever other way that you think you can, as we call in the airstrikes and as we see the things that need to be done, I think that'll work out well. But what ended up happening after 3 years of doing that and having a certain amount of success with it is there was a change in the organization leadership at the parent church. And the new regime that came in was much more wanting to prescribe what ministry needed to look like. And so their first thing was, let's take this ministry away from the campus and let's move it back into our community and integrate it with our church. And they ended up prevailing over time, and we ended up moving out of the ministry because we just didn't think it was the right direction to go. And within a year, the ministry was gone. So we had 100 college students that were meeting on Sundays and Wednesday nights regularly for discipleship and worship and whatnot. And within a year, that was all gone because they tried to take it and bring it back into their culture, and it just didn't work in that environment.
Mm.